camera is going on in 3, 2, 1, go.
Does it? Oh yeah, we're in the shop. When the shop boys were here, we're ready.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah.
Is that how you're gonna start this, man?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, now. I think we're both in a weird mood right now.
Yeah.
Like we filmed, I would say 8 or 9 different episodes right now. So if you want to track back, we've done one with who? We've done one with the van.
Yeah.
We've done one with
Sampala.
We've
done another one with Hardly Harsh.
Done
another one with
all
Malik.
Malik,
Hamza Monyogo,
and Aaron.
Yeah, yeah.
AK Non. You can't forget your boy.
Aaron Cannon,
That's your boy, bro.
Aaron Cannon. Akil
Javid. Come on, you know that one.
We're gonna do it.
And today, it's with the one and only Giandra, who I've known for 4 years, but I guess we'll let her get into it too. Oh, and there you go.
What?
There you go. She's here. Woo! She made it.
What's up?
So this is my friend Giandra. How long have we known each other right now, Giandra?
5 years, I want to say. Maybe
Oh my
4
god.
years.
Oh my days. 5 years.
We were kids. We were we're actual kids.
That's crazy. I need to actually take a step back. I can't lie. That was different. Yeah. So let me give a little background. Yeah. So obviously in uni times, I was about in it. Like I was going to different cities.
Everywhere.
I was trying to meet as many people as possible. I was told your network is your net worth, right? And obviously that's kind of proved effective with how many guests we've had on the podcast, and we've been able to have pretty endearing as well as insightful conversations on here, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it just so happened that my friend Niket had a birthday. And I don't know how I was moving on that day, so you don't have to go too much into that. But what you can do, is say I don't know, first impressions, the vibe you got from me, and I guess what kind of stage you were in life at that time that we met.
Well, obviously, 5 years ago, we were all about. Okay, I was 18. And Niket is actually one of my best friends today, So I was thinking he's a good guy, so there's no reason to think that Miss wouldn't be a good guy either, So I was keeping it open-minded, and I did right to do so. Honestly, I did right to do so. But yeah, you're 18, it's first year of uni, and you're in a situation where you don't know anybody, and that situation I've been in a lot of times. So you have to just mingle and talk to anyone and be just open. Sometimes it was hard, but people like me and all, it's easy to get along with them, and yeah.
No, fair enough. I don't know about CJ, but for me, when I meet a new person, I go in 2 modes, innit? So either I'm the quiet guy who kind of scans the room, with my night vision goggles or some shit, right? And I'm just I'm just pre in the vibe. I'm okay, cool. Can I interject my kind of flagrant personality on there, innit?
Yeah.
And sometimes in that case, I didn't really hold back when I met you guys at all. I was yo, I'm inserting myself in this arena, and if everyone's down with it, then they're down with it. If not, I'm gonna go back home. No one knows me here.
But that's exactly it, because what you gotta go by is your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Exactly.
So if you stay your personality, if you just not impose, but if you're just yourself from the very beginning, then you just filter out all the people that you don't want to be around. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, we might use that quote,
And it's still that quote.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. We're gonna put Giandra in the quotes. Yo, on the Instagram, Kilimanjaro Podcast, we're gonna put that on right there. So go on.
Okay, so who I am? Well,
she rhymes apparently sometimes.
Go by
so
G.
that's
I'm
nice.
Giandra. I'm 23. I just got them. So yeah, I'm from Paris, born, not raised, born here, and ever since I was 6 or 7, I've been moving around kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I'm French, my parents are Indian, And when I was about 7, they moved me out in like this little countryside. So from like a lot of diversity, Paris is moving, there's a lot of things happening and all. And a 7-year-old kid just being put in the countryside with not a lot of diversity. So up until like I was 14, I was there and like the only colored person in my school. And gotta say that was a moment where it was I didn't know myself until I came to England. So when I was 14 in 2012, when I got to England, that's when I actually started finding myself and see who I actually was, and I could actually be myself. Because when you're around like not a lot of diversity, you kind of become a pushover. I don't know if you guys have ever been in that situation, but you kind of become a people pleaser because you want to fit in, right? So until I was 14 years old, I was that girl. I was just always kind of trying to fit in and stuff. Then I got to.
That's really interesting. I think so. Me and CJ, like we grew up in a pretty like white area. Like all of those areas in Hertfordshire, they're very predominantly white, right? Yeah. And the people pleaser bit was interesting because I remember we used to get like mild racial abuse. Like I would say mild compared to like our parents and grandparents. Like when they literally got hit, just because of their color. And I think we sort of internalized it through jokes. Mm-hmm. So we used to just like mess around and act like it was okay, and that was our coping mechanism. So was that like that for you? Or?
Yeah. Because I know what you mean, innit? I'm trying to find
an example, right?
Yeah.
Because like there was only 7 of us who were like colored versus like everyone kind of thing, and like
to say I was
when they play Punjabi MC randomly in the class, like we look at like us, like me and my friend Noel, who will probably get on soon. Yeah. And we just used to have to decide, are we gonna take the piss as well and join in? Or are we gonna like, feel shit about ourselves? And I guess we chose the latter,
Yeah. Oh, you chose the latter for the first one.
I chose the latter at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, as I got on, I was like, there's only one way to win. Is like join them if you can't beat them, right? So yeah.
No, absolutely. But then either way, you don't feel so good about yourself, right? Yeah. Because either way, you just don't. But to say that here in France, there's no Punjabi MC. They don't even know what Punjabi is, They don't. It's to say I was the only brown girl in my school, and there was like 1 or 2 other mixed race, and like the other mixed race guy actually is my best friend. So this is how it was,
Yeah.
And to say that it was a blessing in disguise to come to England, because my little sister actually was about to start school in that secondary school, and I actually enjoyed it. I didn't want her to enjoy it. So I went to my parents and I was like, we gotta move now. We have to move. We just have to. I can't handle it. We have to move. Because my sister was still in that bubble type. And one day I came back and my dad was kind of missing. It was like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. and stuff. And I was like, what the hell is that? And my mom was just like, I shouldn't be telling this. But he's in England trying to find a house. And I'm like, England? I don't know English. Why England? Why? For what? And 2 weeks later, we just moved. It happened just that fast. Like 2 weeks later, that's it. I was in England. I didn't have a school or anything. But to say that
for a house like a knit bag, when a knit bag's looking for a 10 bag, you just
comes up to the hammer time movements, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now so 2 weeks straight away you were moved. What happened next?
And then I had to, like, we found a house, found schools. My sister actually got into a grammar school. I don't know from how or where, but she just nailed it. And like, I just remember everything going so fast. But my first day, the girl doesn't know any English, okay? I looked like a typical brown girl, like what you would think, like bushy hair, this uniform skirt up to the knees, really like thick eyebrows. I look like nothing. Really, I look like nothing. But I, like I said, your vibe attracts your tribe. So I got to my first school, and I was very nervous. And people were so welcoming. Like I never seen this before. There was no abuse, no mockery, no nothing. They were like, "Oh, what's your name?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "I don't speak English, but you seem so nice. So let's just add each other and stuff." And like a month later, like people were so inclusive. Like a month later, I could speak English, and like a month after that, I could do my GCSEs.
Yeah,
You
and that
know?
was probably because of the fact that you had so many friends in the first month that you kind of had to evolve, or
Yeah,
someone's going to speak to you.
You just kind of pick it up, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
and
And
you must have been really fast, because in a month to learn English is crazy.
I
So
was
what?
good.
You only knew French and what else? Did you
And
speak
Tamil.
languages too? No.
Yeah. I speak Tamil and a bit of Spanish. Spanish is better
So
now.
that's probably another reason why she picked it up so quickly, is because she already had like 2 languages
Yeah.
apart from just her mother tongue. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that was kind of the story of how I got to England, and like that was the beginning of traveling, because I kind of just saw like, oh, people are different in different places. How are there other places? So
Yeah.
I started taking a lot of interest in like international stuff, and hence I got into international business and management. Kind of.
Okay, so that's like a fairly precise background of like
So
how you became more into who you are versus like the shy girl who used to walk around in like classical knee skirts, right? Now that's interesting, because I don't think me and CJ really saw that, because obviously we were born and raised in England, right?
yeah,
Both of us, just to get background. We do come from diverse families, so like my dad comes from like East Africa, and we classify ourselves as East African Asian.
My grandparents are from the Caribbean, so like Jamaican. So, yeah.
nice.
But like when we were here, we didn't really see that inclusive nature come in until it became a trend. So
Yeah.
when you came, which was about the age of like 13, 14 for us,
Yeah.
that's when it became a trend to like make everyone feel inclusive.
Okay, a trend. Like it's
That's how I
interesting.
classify it, because no, it's the same thing. It's like with the Black Lives Matter thing. Now
Yeah.
I do genuinely think that was a trend, because
Yeah,
the black square thing, what did that do for the movement?
Yeah.
It was just black squares on a screen, taking
Mhm.
away from the messaging, because you can't see anything visually, and coming from like a marketing background, like things have to be readable and scannable. So it's
Yeah.
not helping the movement, it's just showing people that you're part of the herd, right? Now
Yeah.
obviously you did have to advocate for that in some way, otherwise you're kind of an inhumane person.
Yeah.
But things like that show how much of it is actually a trend versus like how much you really care about that thing.
Well, maybe you could look at it the fact that the black square thing was more of a awareness spreading type of thing, because you saw it everywhere on Instagram and were like, oh, why is this happening? Why is everyone putting black square? And then
I think it was definitely beneficial for that segment of people who were so like dumbfounded by it. They were like, oh, what is going on? I don't understand. But for the people who are just like, okay, cool, all I have to do is post a black square and I'm good. Those are the people that it kind of takes away.
They didn't benefit as much, and they didn't really put in that much for the black community either. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I guess like London at like 13, 14 when we were growing up, obviously there were so many different cultures, races, backgrounds, and like you see it in your high street, right? You see a Chinese shop, you see an Indian shop, you see blah blah blah, you see Jamaican, all of this.
Yeah.
So it kind of adapted viciously, and for you that was like a huge blessing, I suppose.
So big.
From your
So
perspective.
big. Like
But
I learned so much about
on.
my own culture once I got to the UK, because I had no idea. I'm Indian, and like there's no good temples around, but it's only when I got to UK I was like, wait, there's that type of temples around, like they actually celebrate Diwali here. There was like little things like that. I was like, and there's such a huge Indian community there that was actually very good for me. So when I came back to France, like for summer holidays and stuff, and I saw my friends and the people that used to judge me for actually being Indian and not actually knowing who I am, like now I can actually explain my background. And it's actually helped a lot coming back when I came back to France, because they're a lot more interested. Actually, I have things to say now, and like I know more about my background too.
Exactly.
help.
We were obviously going to touch on your travels through international business through your degree, because that's a nice cup. Look at that. Look at that cute little cup, man. What the fuck? But yeah, no. We were going to talk about your travels because you even went to Texas.
Yeah.
You know? So you've obviously built up this love for traveling and have a little bit of wanderlust. Because you probably came from one environment onto an environment which had greener grass, and through that transition you were like, I want more of this, you know.
Yeah.
If I could see a greater place from when I was born, then of course I can do that over and over again, right? So like, I'm sure hopefully we'll have like travel plans in the future, and we'll probably document that, and you guys will probably see that you know. We'll get it coming to you, you know.
Vlogs.
So
Yes.
I guess we kind of want to know like what you do. Now, this is not really a question that I like to ask necessarily, because it kind of insinuates like you're after something. But obviously, for the purpose of this podcast, what do you do?
But I do get that, because if like people were asking me this question last summer, like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm unemployed, you know. it's not such a nice thing to say, like, oh, I'm trying to. But obviously, beginning of the pandemic,
it's like it feeds into that people pleasing gene that you probably have, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you go on this website called 16 Personalities, you can find out how much of a people pleaser you are. You can find out how logical you are versus like a dreamer type of thinking. You can see all of these things, right?
Yeah, I did that test.
Even me, like the way that me and G relate, I think, is we're both like kind of people pleasers, or like that's kind of our natural state.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of evolved to like, you know, bring barriers so that we can protect ourselves, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
what I think, sorry, what I think is that Miz and I, like, what I've seen is we try to see people's personalities first. Like, we touch kind of like everywhere, but if we see that something that we don't like, we won't touch upon too much. Like, we get along with pretty much everyone, but once we know when to put our boundaries, and that's really important. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, it's just like when you are asked a question and you have a response like, oh, I'm unemployed, or I'm not doing much, or like I don't really have anything going on for me right now. It does put you in it makes you feel pathetic because of social norms, but it also shows you how ingenuine people are, because they kind of drop off after you say things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I think we've all kind of been in that position. Like, thankfully, I wasn't really in that position for a long time after uni, but for those first 2 months of like really trying to, you know, message 100 different companies, you know, different personalized messages so that I could get through the door.
Yeah.
It was challenging mentally, and I think you spent a little bit of time unemployed for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
and when you were going through those conversations of like, oh, I'm unemployed, how did you feel?
Yeah, I find it's quite like, it was quite, I would say, embarrassing a bit, because like the people I was around during that time, they all had like jobs and that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all doing stuff, and I was just there, just like not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you feel a bit like.
It kind of stifles you, and like it's really important.
Yeah, you know, you feel excluded because you want to do things. You're like, okay, shall we do this? Let's go traveling. Let's go this. It's like, oh, I have a job. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. You have a job. I don't. But we graduated during the pandemic, right? And like, I started looking for a job. Like, I tried to be one of those early ones, and I started looking for a job beginning of my 4th year, right? Like, very beginning, and I was sending an application, doing interviews, rejections
By the way,
until the end, rejections.
Anyone who's in uni at the moment and they're in their last year, apply now, straight.
Yeah, applying now. Do not wait. This is a sign. Once I graduated, you know, this was when like I was still applying, but now at that point I didn't know what I was gonna do, because my plan was not to stay in France. You know, it's like I had bad memories of France. I just wanted to go back to my friends, my cocoon. You know, like my what do you call it? My comfort zone. I wanted to go back there, but it was not possible. It wasn't possible. So started applying for. I didn't start applying for jobs actually. I was firm on my foot. I was like, I'm not staying here. I'm not gonna stay here. And so I started doing what everyone else did. I started TikToks. Started doing TikTok videos. And then
this was in lockdown, by the way, for everyone's reference. This was in lockdown, right?
Yeah, this was in lockdown.
When TikTok basically started to have a lot of steam behind it, that's when you jumped on the bandwagon. What's your TikTok?
Clumsy G. Clumsy G, that's also my Instagram.
That's your little plug. You can say it with a little bit of venom, you know. Yeah. Okay. So you did.
So TikToks. And then I started doing the next phase that everyone else was doing as well, like going with the flow, you know. I started trying to build a small business, like my own startup as well. So I got up with my friend and we're like, okay, let's do this. We're going to import spices and all that. And we had the whole business plan going and we started looking up partners and stuff. And on the side, I was like, okay, this is fun, but I still need funds. If I'm going to do this, I need something. I need some funds. And I actually need a job now. And at that point, it was already like August 2020 and I still had nothing steady, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, G, it's time. So this is when I started waking up at 5, 6 in the morning, going on LinkedIn, getting the first jobs in and all that. And like really and my French was not that good because after 8 years in England,
exactly. Starts to fade away a little bit,
it started fading away. Like I still spoke French, but it wasn't like a proper
like the right grammar, all of this, right?
It wasn't a diplomatic type of French, you know?
Oh yeah, and obviously with French it's like masculine and feminine in it. So you have to know both. And if you don't, then you're messed up because you're gonna be saying the complete wrong sentence, right?
I feel like English is just a hella simple language compared to like other languages. Like a basic.
They've just taken like the most simple bits from each language, like all of like you know, Germany, we'll take a bit of that. France, we'll take a bit of that, mix it in the pot, there you go. That's English.
That's English for me. I was like, this is so much simpler, you know? And they made it such a big deal. But eventually I got a job. And I'm very happy about my job, actually. It's very nice.
Yeah, so what do you do? What do you do? Give them some background.
So I sell charging stations for electrical cars and vehicles. It's
hot industry right now. Hot.
Yeah, it's a very hot industry. It's something that I never saw myself in, but it's to do with sustainability and environment and a lot of green. And I always love that. Like I've always supported it. Like, I'm vegetarian, like for environmental reasons. You know, I've always been on that side. But charging stations actually never crossed my mind. They never crossed my mind, and I felt like this job was such a blessing because I touch. It's very national. It's mainly in France, but I touch a lot of like with international partners. So people that work in California, people that work in Netherlands and Spain and all. And it started off as a small startup. When I joined in September. There was only 30 of us, and today there's 60 of us, and I already moved twice upon my ranking. You know. So it moved very fast, but just to say that don't give up. And what I did was just be myself. Like I went to the interview, like I only had this one interview. They were the only people that called me back after like hundreds of interviews. The only people that called me back. And I was just myself. Like I just didn't lie. I was laughing. I was just smiling, and I was just trying to converse. And sometimes I did so much what I call Franglish, like I wasn't speaking fully French, like I just kept implementing English words, but they just found it like charming, I guess, I don't know. And the triggering point that they told me, the hiring people, like at the end of the interview, like I said, there wasn't that many people, but at the end of the interview, I left the room, and it's an open space office. And I just looked at everyone, and bear in mind we had to wear masks at that point. I just turned around, I looked at everyone, and I dropped a big smile. I said hi, and then I left, you know. And that was the triggering point. They were like, okay, this girl, we want her, and they called me back, and I had to do 2 more interviews after that, but I was already in, you know.
Yeah. So advice for everyone out there: if you're wearing a mask, don't. Like, just get it off your face. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't save people. Just open. No, I'm joking. But
no. Honestly, just smile.
but personally, like, I don't like the mask thing because it kind of takes you away from being a human being. It takes away that human element, and like I have my own personal reasons for that, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's something bigger than us going on. Who knows, right?
He just said, didn't he?
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. But so there is two things I want to touch upon there. There is one, like the gratitude thing, like how she stays so grateful for like all of these stepping stones in her life. But two is about like how we can help the people kind of get a job out there, whether they've just graduated or whether they're just looking to supplement their side hustle with a little bit of cash on the side. And that's but yeah, I would say some advice that I personally have for landing a graduate role, or just any role in general, is have a cover letter that is speaking directly to the company, right? Where it says, okay, I can add value for this company because of this, and because I and then give like some background as to why you would enjoy the job. And then two, when you get to the interview process, hopefully all of you will, by the way, when you get there, just be yourself, because if you don't represent yourself, then when you land the role, they're going to be like, this isn't what I expected. You know, I'm unhappy with my choice, I'm unhappy with my decision, and that spirals into you eventually either getting dismissed or you getting treated like very different to what you expected.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always best to just be authentically yourself, so that they understand how to treat you as an employee.
How do I stay so grateful?
Yeah, or why are you so grateful? So obviously gratitude is a huge thing that is practiced in the self-care community at the moment, and I guess we kind of cross lines with the self-care community a little bit, because we do like give some gems here and there, but obviously, you know, it's fun over here, you know, we're not trying to make it too serious, right? But gratitude is one of the levers that you use towards success. And if you stay in that grateful state, then what you do to your mind is you feed it with positivity rather than negativity, and again, that's another snowball effect that happens. So
well, I'm a real believer of like the law of attraction. So whatever I think about, like, it will happen, you know. So if I keep staying positive, or like if I want something, I'll do my best to think as if I already have it. And so far it's worked kind of good for me, because it keeps me in a good mindset. That's for like, I don't know if I get the things, but I actually stay in that positive mindset. But what's
really, you're not saying that she basically closes her eyes and everything comes to her. Like if she wants a Lamborghini, she's not gonna close her eyes, you know. Like
you gotta think, I already got my Lamborghini, I already have it, it's there, it's downstairs, it's just parked, you know. Like you gotta just stay in that positivity, because unconsciously you do the steps in order to get that Lamborghini, if that's what you want.
It's the same thing as like, for example, if you look out for a yellow car outside, or if one of your friends buys a specific BMW, so let's call it BMW i8, because that's what I want, and I'm trying to attract that BMW i8 at some point. Now, if I'm looking online BMW i8s, if I'm looking around and I start to see a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, isn't it weird that you start to see it everywhere?
Yeah.
After you've looked at it for a while, there's a reason for that. You put out that vibration. You know,
exactly.
Not to get guru-y on this, but you know, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, it's nothing to do like, even if you don't, even if you're not a believer of spirituality, or like just not believer in general, like thinking like that honestly just keeps you in a positive mindset, because you're just like, okay, eventually it's gonna come anyway. It's fine. Like you just get rid of all this negative energy, and like, even if I have had a bad day, and that happens often because I am with clients all day long, you know, it's just like, even if I've had a bad day, I just kind of like sleep like, okay, all is well, it's fine, like we'll see tomorrow. But like, about your question of like, how do I kind of feel grateful, like how do I stay grateful, especially today, and I think a lot of people can, like, hopefully a lot of people can relate to this. Everything that I have today, like my job, like an apartment alone, but like not too far away from my family, the fact that my family is close enough so that I can see them like whenever I want, And like everything that I have today is something that I prayed for yesterday. And it's just like example, this summer I needed a job. I really needed a stable life. I wanted to talk to someone, you know, I wanted like good friends and all. And today I have that. I have nothing really to be ungrateful for. So I just think about the days where I wanted what I have today. And
it's like to me, and probably to the people out there, it kind of comes across as like you're an optimistic person anyways, because you'd rather not be in that pessimistic state.
Yeah.
But alongside that, it's, you know, training yourself to get that acquisition from your thoughts. And I think a great mantra that you can have is right before bed, think about what you're going to do tomorrow, which is why, you know, all of these millionaires like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they kind of write down like a to-do list for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that when you wake up, you already have that, you know, kinetic energy of writing down something on the paper. And when you wake up, you're like, okay, cool, I know what to do, because my mind, when I'm sleeping, can feel that kinetic energy that you put down on the paper. Wow, I sound like a mother. I sound like I'm an alien or something, you know. But I mean, it's true. Like if you write down, you know, goals, or if you journal, or if you do these kind of things, then you will start seeing what you want around you more and more, and eventually that will come into your possession.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea behind it, anyways. If it doesn't explain more.
No, it absolutely is. And like I'm gonna touch like a little bit on like everything, a little bit of mental illness. Like I've had some form of like depression phases in and out. Okay.
Yeah.
And writing down a list, like a to-do list, because like if I'm depressed today and I can't go to work tomorrow, like, and I still have to go to work tomorrow, you know, but like writing down a list of what I have to do the next day and what I can do, not a long list of trying to save the earth or something, you know, just little things like, okay, I'm gonna make my bed this morning, I'm gonna get a coffee, and I'm gonna maybe go for a run. If I don't, it's okay, you know, like just little lists in my head. And when I get to work, I'm gonna call this person, I'm gonna do this little admin stuff, like things that are doable. Like you actually kind of like feel like productive in some way, even if you hadn't been as productive as the day before, you were still kind of productive, and that's okay. That's all you need. You just need one check and it's fine, you did something for the day.
You know, it's actually insane, because I went on this podcast with my friend Hadi Harsh, right?
Yeah.
And I was speaking about, you know, how expression and writing things down and journaling can add or impact to your life. And what you said about the checklist, I actually said it's crazy how you can really work through your mishaps and I guess volatile states of life when you put it down on paper. Or even like, you know, some people do voice memos to themselves. So I know my guy Yash, who's like almost a professional Forex trader right now. And he's very into this spirituality shit. Like he actually got me on the bandwagon of it, and I'm glad that I'm here, kind of thing. He journals to himself through voice, so that he can listen and understand, like, you know, the tonality and emotions that he goes through as well, which I think is a beautiful thing, and I think that really helps a lot of people too. So, any more questions before we go on to Texas?
Most of my questions were about like Texas.
Most of us were about Texas.
Well, through them, because Texas, it was my year abroad. So I don't know if you guys hyped it up that much, but let's see what I've got for you guys. It was an adventure. It was actually
I guess from my perspective, when I met you, right? And like, you know, through like, I guess I went there a couple times, you know, we went to a restaurant in London when the kid's birthday was here. I bought one of my exes. She met my ex, bro. Imagine. Shout out to her. She's on a billboard at the moment right now. Congratulations, by the way. You know, no saltiness here. I don't put no salt on anything, apart from chips, by the way. But fast forward, you were kind of I would say you seemed introverted. You know?
Yeah.
And for a lot of people out there who are introverts and they look at a a sandwich year, or even going abroad to like experience a different type of life or a different culture, or just getting out of their own head and just going, they're probably reluctant to do so because of the fact that they're an introvert. So like, what pushed you over the line to get out of your comfort zone and go to Texas?
I saw an opportunity. I saw a window, and I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. And it was Texas. It was very far. Initially, I wanted to go Spain or Italy and be close to home and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's actually my mom that looked at me and she's like, if you're gonna go, you might as well just go far. Just go far. Oh yeah, just go. You know?
Get out of it. Why are you here?
She's just like, if you're gonna go, just go far.
I'm 2,000 miles away, so I don't have to deal with it.
I don't know if it was to get rid of me or if it was to.
I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure it wasn't. So you just took a punt. You were like, fuck it. If it works, then cool. If it doesn't, then I'll find a way to manage it.
Well, yeah. Then it wasn't. I think that it would have never been a waste. Like anywhere I went, I would have tried to make something out of it. Like it's just like I can't. You know, it's like you got 2 ingredients and you just like you got eggs and bananas. You're just gonna make like pancakes out of it. I don't know if you guys know that recipe, but it works. It works.
Yo, listen.
Bananas.
We're gonna do a pancake challenge. We got another video.
Bananas make pancakes.
It's churn that.
But it's the same concept. So when my mom said that, I thought, okay, let me go. Then let me just go America. Let's see. And Texas, you know, you think Texas, there's a lot of stereotypes, especially for like colored people, you know, and you just don't think it's a safe place to go at the beginning, right? There's so much stereotypes.
Some guy comes with a cowboy hat and something like, wait, my lord.
Yeah, you see the sergeant, you see the sheriff, you know, Old Town Road's playing in the background. You're like, what is this place?
But just like all those stereotypes, honestly, I went to 3 different cities. Like I went camping, I went to Dallas, and I went to Houston. I can't remember where I went camping too, but it was like very kind of countryside, like far away. So, and I traveled kind of a lot during my year abroad in America. And just to say that all those stereotypes, they were all wrong. Like honestly, I got there. I was kind of first time. So I get out the plane. Literally, I get out the plane and I'm at the airport. I'm at Dallas. I'm in Texas, and I see cowboy hats, belts, like sheriff, like just all like cowboys. And mama, I was scared. I was just like, where did I end up in? And to say that the first day I was walking on campus, it was very hot. It was very, very hot. And like, I didn't actually get the gist of it. So they had like the taxis, the rickshaws that, I don't know, it's not rickshaws in English. I don't know how you
we can picture a rickshaw.
So they had little vehicles to get you around, like out and about campus. And I was so dumb. Like I just didn't see them. I didn't know what was going on. I was about to get my room at that point, and I was just walking for like 20 minutes under the sun. I have no hats and stuff. Kind of scared. I'm just about to faint, right? And there's this guy, this man who pulls up in a truck. And he looks at me. He got the cowboy hat and everything. He's like a 4-year-old man. He looks at me. He's like, "Howdy, ma'am. Do you need a ride?" I just looked at him like, "Thanks, no thanks." Thank you. And it just
he said, like, that's what you're saying. That's what he said. Okay, interesting.
I was scared. You know, I was like, where did I end up? You know, I was like, this is weird. Why is this 40-year-old man asking me to get in the ride with him? Like, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But then I saw him like,
you're like, you're a bit above my pay grade, actually.
A few months later, I saw him on campus, and I just found out that he was just a really nice man that helped students around campus. That's all he did. That was it. That's all he did. And that's later on, like after it clicked, it's like, oh yeah, that's that one. It's like, oh, that's why. It's just, and I was like, and that campus was so safe. Like, honestly, and today I saw, like not today, but I saw not long ago, they have robots on campus that brings you your food wherever you go. So if you order food from somewhere, there's like little robots that come and bring it to you on campus.
Well, you didn't go to Texas. She went to 2050.
Texas 2050 in the future,
Yeah, because I guess we only remember Texas from movies, isn't it? Really, those country films like that. That's the association that we get.
Yeah.
And to know that they've kind of come a long way in that sense is crazy. I guess. Tell us more.
Yeah, they still kept that culture. Like there's places that you go to, you can still see rodeos and stuff. Yeah. But when you go on this, like in the city, in Dallas and stuff, I remember driving there, and they have like it's huge. It's huge. There's more land than actual civilization there. And so they've really taken their place, and there'll be like 5 lanes where you can drive. There's barely any traffic, right. And where it's busy, they have roads that kind of like not bridges like, but it's very futuristic. The roads go up and down, and like it's just like I'll send you pictures if you want. But I remember like when I
send us some pictures so we can put it in.
Yeah, it's very honestly, it's very futuristic. Like I remember the roads were amazing. And the architecture there as well. I went to I made friends very easily. Like I just sit next to someone, like I go to class, someone would just smile at me. I sit next to them. I'm like, you look nice, I'm gonna sit next to you. Next thing I know, I'm having a Christmas party at their house, and their house is like huge. And they're not particularly rich or anything. They just have huge houses. Yeah, it's just like you can walk around in hills and it still be fine.
I think the more saturated the city is, the higher the prices get, right? Because there's less space, so it's like in demand.
Yeah, I know.
But obviously you have more land over there, so that's why American houses are banging, and they all have basements and attics, and the basements and attics are like your front rooms.
Literally.
Yeah. They all had swimming pools. They're all like, honestly, that was something that marked me. Like when I went there, I just wanted to, like, it gave me that need of just I need a house like this in the future. Like if I'm gonna live somewhere, this is gonna be a place like this. Then I'm not saying Texas particularly, but I just love the vibe there because everything was so convenient. You wanted ice cream at 3 a.m, you had ice cream at 3 a.m. It's just everything was always open, lively. And I remember this one day I was feeling kind of down, but I still wanted to do something. I wanted to go outside, but there was nothing. There was no motives. There was nothing going on. So me and my friends, we just took the car and drove around downtown. And we found this really cool jazz bar. It's just live music, jazz, and you just went around. And I did the same thing in Austin. We were walking around like Austin. That's where all the hub is. Okay, there's a lot of students there. There's a lot of live music. There's a whole street just bars and pubs and all. And I just remember one time just walking.
No, not like Camden. Carry on.
No, not like Camden. Actually, not like Camden. It was just full of bars, and there was a lot of live music. Like I love live music. And so there was this one bar that was closed. But there was the window came about my knees. Not my knees, my hip, right? Yeah. So like about there. So you could still see the concert, the stage where people were playing music and people were like drinking in front of them. We were outside. We were on the street. Yeah. And I just remember climbing up, ending up on stage. Someone gave me a mic, and I was just, that's it. That was my show at that very moment. I was the person on stage singing in front of people I didn't know. that was an experience,
No, I personally can't imagine you sing. You want to sing right now? You might as well.
No, I'm okay. Really? I need a couple of drinks for that. But to say that it was just very American people, from what I've seen, they're very spontaneous and easygoing. That's the moral of it. From like these little snippets of stories I've said.
I don't know, man. I feel like you just picked the right state. You know, like I think they are very like outgoing, more outgoing than we are over here because I guess it's more of an adventure to meet people. Because it's like I guess less saturated and there's more land, etc., etc. So I guess you'd rather be outside of the house meeting people rather than just on your phone, on Tinder. You know what I mean? So I guess it's a huge difference. But like if you go to New York, for example, like where my mom's from, it's very similar to like London culture in the sense that like everyone's busy, everyone's trying to like go around to the next like business meeting. Or they're just rushing.
Well, you say that, but again, like I got the opportunity to visit New York while I was there as well, and people were actually very friendly when it came to tourists and foreigners. Like one time we got lost and we asked for
London though. Yeah, exactly. Compared to London, New York is like is so friendly.
Yeah.
But I think you were saying, I think we spoke about this the other day, the difference between London and Paris there is pretty significant.
Yeah.
Because in Paris, like they're very much like get out my way type, move bitch, get out the way type of thing, They're like, and they're very blunt, and their sarcasm is like kind of undetectable.
Yeah, they love their sarcasm. French people they speak in sarcasm. It took me a while to get it because I wasn't originally a very sarcastic person. I think I'm becoming now, like if I speak French, I'll be kind of sarcastic, but not in English. You know how you change percentages.
Yeah. It's like you change different modes. It's like when you're playing a game, you're like, I want to do beginner mode instead of intermediate. You know what I mean? So yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But to say, like, if you saw stats, it's kind of funny because just yesterday I saw stats on BBC News that said less countries that are less welcoming and less friendly when it comes to tourists, and France was number one. And I was just sitting on the floor. I was like, okay, this isn't a surprise for me, but yeah, I didn't see London, I didn't see New York, I didn't see anything. Like I just saw France as number one. I was like, this just makes sense.
This is cool. This could probably be a segment in itself, right? Like just talking about like how the countries differentiate based on like mood, based on how welcoming they are, and just based on like the overall pace. Like how much they are in a rush. And I guess we can get some stats on like the correlations between the two. And
but when you see, I was talking like you're talking about Russian stuff, right? I'm just gonna jump on that.
No, go.
I've never seen anyone take as many coffee or smoke breaks as French people. Like,
but like they don't have that.
I'm not in a rush.
Like, what's their lunchtime out there? Because I think it's different, right? Like,
my lunchtime is 2 hours, 12 to 2 p.m. Bearing in mind, we don't have allocated break times, but we can take breaks kind of whenever we want, and because like 99% of the people in my startup like smoke, we take breaks pretty much every 20 minutes. Like it's just, unless you start really feeling guilty about yourself, like you probably will find me outside or like just walking around or something. But I do work.
Wait, so like we ask you what you do, but like we don't even know what you do really. So you're in this space, right? You're in the like electrical car, like healthy natural gases kind of thing, powering the car, or like electric, right? And renewable energy, that's what I was gonna say. I was trying to find the word for it in my head. I was like, wait, I swear I have this word in my vocabulary. I just fuck it out from the back of my head, I guess. But yeah, renewable energy is like pretty close to my heart because like obviously I'm invested in it. Right. So if anyone wants to know my stock picks, I wouldn't recommend it. This is not financial advice, but you see Square and you see Neo, just look at those companies and see what you can get, see what reward you can get. Because I'm getting a bit of profit out of that, by the way, just to let you know.
That's good, man. That's good.
But yeah, so you are in this space that is definitely gonna like conquer in the next 5 years. Apple is planning to release an electric car at when it becomes 2025. So you're in a good spot. Now, what do? You arrange for electric car stations on behalf of those companies, or?
So I do a few different things. So I'm in sales.
Yeah.
I'm what they called polyvalent, so kind of multitasking salesperson because I'm also a junior.
Yeah.
So I touch different things. And today, the French government has a lot of aids to when it comes to installing charging stations in different areas for the public, for the general public, because all these car companies are selling the electrical cars, but there's nowhere to charge them. So the government actually has put a lot of primes and stuff and some like benefits and stuff to actually get those companies to install more charging stations. So I take care of that. So I put companies in relations with like those admin stuff, and I kind of tell them this type of information, those infos. So I'm kind of the referee for that. But I also do a lot of contacting of partners that to create synergies with our supervision system. So we have like this little key box. How do I say that? So we have a little outil. I don't know how to say
station.
A stencil. Yeah, we have. So we have like this app. We have this app in my company, right? And that allows people that charge their cars to see how much they consumed and how to go about that. And we also help companies reimburse their clients if they want to have like free charging and all that. It's very hard to explain this in English, kind of. But so what I do, I contact data managers in France. So their job is literally to manage this type of electricity data for other companies. I contact them and I'm like, hey, what's up? Do you want to do API with us? Do you want to create like some sort of synergy? And it's really cool. Like we said, let's work together so that we can make our common client more happier. You know, so I do that. But my main job is to contact companies and say, hey, those are coming up in 2025. You have to have at least 5% of your parking that has to be electrified. You have to have charging stations. Have you thought of a solution? We are here. Can I present our startup to you? And can we come and audit your site and give you a quota? So that's my job.
Okay, so let me get it straight. Yeah, so your main job or your main priority is to get in contact with car companies?
Not car companies, any company. Any companies that has a parking. So we work with
any company that has a big car park, basically.
Has a car park. That has a car
park. Period. So just like in England right now, like they have it outside most Lidl's.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
So
Lidl, Tesco's, any charging stations really, that not charging stations but petrol stations. Any stations, any town hall. We work with golfs as well as honestly, like the smaller like if florists, wine companies, anything.
Okay, so like it's on tap basically.
Yeah, like we like even
it's a really good model. Like the business model is definitely gonna flourish.
Yeah. We touch all segments. So like I am actually capable of picking up the phone. I was like, okay, you want that? Yes, we can do that. It's that easy because I've never had to say no. We can't.
That's definitely a point. Like for you guys out there, when you're looking for a job, look at companies that are definitely gonna thrive for like X amount of years. So let's say you wanna be in a company for 2 years while you start your rock band enterprise, for example. You know, just a random one. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. Ben, right?
Oh.
But let's say you want to work for 2 years, you have to see that the company is going to be able to thrive, and if they're in the right position to do so. And I guess that's what you did there with the electric stuff. And I guess it's a mesh between a sales executive as well as like a partnerships manager.
Yeah.
Because you're a cross between the two, you create synergies between this party and this party, and you are the referee who are overseeing that, and you basically get those contracts from start to finish.
Yes.
So in short, that's basically what Giandra does. Just to clear it up with the Franglish.
Yeah, because my Franglish was.
But you do your job in French, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think that kind of role is very desirable right now, because it's mutually beneficial, and it kind of takes away from what we always speak about on here, which is, our relationships are really transactional.
Yeah.
Or can you get that mutual benefit? And I think having a role like yours puts you in the perfect space to be yourself, because that's how you are as a person. You don't build relationships based on what can you give me. You base it on like, does your vibe match with mine? And if it does, I'm willing to put aside time to build that.
Yes, that's what we do. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still in sales, so the aim is to close the deal, so I have to. The aim is to close the deal, but the thing is when I speak to a client or a partner and all that, I don't put on another face. I will tell them what we have, and I'll tell them who I am. And if I don't know the things, I say, okay, I don't have enough information for now, but I can go and check it out, and I'll come back to you. It's just like, I don't try to put on a face and say, okay, I know everything. Don't worry, we can do everything. I don't sell dreams, I just sell what we have. Yeah. And that's the key. And that is the key. If you don't want to get back behind, honestly, that's the key.
No, and I think a lot of people who are in your role that fail, that's what they do. They put on that, strong face with little emotion and more logic than you can fathom. And half the time they don't even know what they're saying, and obviously that's not going to lead to them closing the deal. So
they end up tripping over on themselves, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Any more questions, bro? Before we just share random stories? We'll do that, and then we'll probably have to cut those out. But,
You had questions about Texas, right?
Yeah, what's it? Oh, well, mine was really just about like the cultural differences, in Texas compared to like Paris and that. But I mean, you kind of answered it already, but yeah, that was pretty much what I was
Well, yeah, it was very much a spontaneity of it, and to say that I've made, honestly, lifetime friends being there. I wasn't there for that long, Yeah, I did a year abroad, but I still I did a lot of backpacking and I traveled alone. But the friends I've made are people that I want to see again. One of them, even two of them came to Paris and stayed with me for 2 days, just 2 days. They came and we already have plans. He already has plans of moving here, and we might just get an apartment tomorrow. We don't know what might happen, but that's what I love, It's just the spontaneity of it. And these are people that I talk to not every day. It's still low maintenance, but I know that if I call them up randomly, they'll be there. Those I met people, but it was just adorable. I met people, if they saw some old people walking on the street and stuff, they'll just stop and be like, oh, do you want to ride? Can I drop you anywhere? Those are the kind of people I met. And it's just, and I lived any girl's dream, I feel like that.
Yeah, explain it. What do you mean by girl's dream? I want to know what girl's dreams are.
This is very, very cheesy, but you're walking in the street and it's just pouring down rain, and you don't have an umbrella, you don't have a coat, you don't have anything, but it's just pouring down. And when it pours in Texas, it pours. And this very, very handsome guy just came behind me with an umbrella, with an umbrella. It's like, oh, where are you going? Can I walk you to your building? And it's like this only happened there. And I'm pretty sure never gonna happen here. It's never gonna happen in England. If it does, guys, if you're watching this and you ever see a girl just walking under the rain and you have an umbrella, go for it. Honestly, just go for it. It helps.
And worst case scenario, they'll take your umbrella and run. So Just buy another umbrella. Keep a spare, basically, at all times. That kind of like sparked my brain because I imagine people watching this, right? And they're like, okay, cool, this girl G, like she does sales, she's climbing up the ranks, you know, she's spiritual, she's rooted in like what she wants, her goals, her dreams, you know. You were talking about just there, like, you know, living every girl's kind of dream, being spontaneous. Do you watch a lot of movies? Right, that's my question. And the reason why I asked that question is because we take in subconsciously all of this programming from what we watch the most.
Yeah.
Right? And because you take it in, you project that into like your mission.
Put on some expectation. I mean, I don't, honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't watch that many movies. I watch the classics, but because I'm often I watch movies
now. I'm saying when you were younger, because when you're younger, that's when, you know, you kind of adapt very quickly. Yeah. You adapt way quicker.
The thing is, like, I've never actually liked watching movies alone.
Yeah.
You know, so if I watch movies, it's always with people, so it's always like classics. But like, I like to comment and stuff, and I talk like during the movie, and I comment later and stuff. So I don't watch that many movies. I watch some movies. I watch movies, but I'm not like a movie addict and stuff. Like, I don't spend my time.
What's your favorite movie?
Well, like my favorite movie, I do like Notting Hill. I don't know if I could say that it's my favorite movie because I love Marvel as well. But I do like Notting Hill. It's a very slow kind of like, I don't know if you watched it or anything. It's very cheesy, but
I never heard of it.
You're gonna have to explain a little bit so that we get the gist.
It's super cheesy. Well, American girl American famous actress comes to England, meets a little librarian, like non-famous librarian, and they have a story, and she decides to just stay in England after that. So it's just, yeah, you just watch it. Plus the actors are hot as well. Hugh Grant.
So whilst you were explaining that, do you kind of see like the similarities in like your lifestyle? Because you do like, you know, traveling, for example.
Yeah.
I assume you like, you know, that romantic element of like, you know, having a knight in shining armor kind of go to you and have like an umbrella. You know, do you see those kind of comparisons? I was just making like I just see it. That's what I'm saying. Like
to say that I love having like some sort of cliche. You know, I'm like I wouldn't say I'm old school because I'm very like I like to take lead in things, you know, so like most often you will see me with my own umbrella, you know, but when these things happen spontaneously like this, like I do like it, like I like to take like a mental picture of it and I won't forget it. It's like all those road trips I did and all, it's like it was very movie like and I loved it. But
I feel like you live your life like a movie because, well, that's kind of the way I see life as well, because
because that's
watch that your life and you're not excited about it.
Exactly. You want to fall in love with your life.
Like what is the point in being here if you play back all of the memories in your head and you're like, oh, I could have done more.
Exactly.
That's what she's saying about going to Texas. She was like, let's go, the opportunity window is closing, and if it closes, I'm gonna regret.
You know, to go to Texas, I was too late. You know, I was too late for the applications to go abroad because I didn't actually want to go abroad in the beginning because I kind of just wanted to get my degree over and done with and do things later. And I was speaking to a friend of mine. She was like, I'm going to America. And I was like, oh, wait, you can still go abroad and stuff? And she was like, yeah, Mom, and just go to your admin staff and just ask them. And it was, I had 24 hours to give my application to go abroad. So I had 24 hours to decide where I wanted to go. And I had 5 choices. Like I said, I had 5 choices. Texas was not my first choice. It was never my first choice, you know?
Yeah, no.
And I went to the lady and actually I wrote on my application form and I wanted to go to Canada at the beginning. Okay, I went to if you're gonna go, you go far, right? So I put down Canada. I was like, okay, safe there. It's safe. I was just like, it's safe. You know, it's just that's the introvert in me that was just like, okay, we're gonna go for the safe. And this lady looked at me, and she looked at the paper, and she looked at me back, and she looked at the paper again. She's like, I don't think you should go to Canada. I think you should go to Dallas. There was no more to it, right? There was no more to it.
I don't think you should go to Canada.
But I mean, she said Dallas in a way that was kind of like, okay, this looks kind of like a sign. But also what I knew is that the Dallas business school was a bit higher ranked than the Canada one. Okay. But there wasn't that much difference, you know. Okay. And there was an intro requirement to go to Dallas, and there wasn't for Canada. That maybe that played a part to it. But she's the woman that was like, honestly, I think you should go to Canada, to Dallas. I think you should go to Dallas. And I looked at her and I was like, okay then. And I didn't tell my parents or anything. I was just like, okay then, I'm going to Dallas. So I was just like, okay, let's do it. 19-year-old girl was like, okay, let's just do it. And I had to apply for visas and everything, and it was stressful. And it was still exam time, you know. It was a lot of stress, but to say that it was all worth it, because when I got to Texas, I'm like, okay, how did you get there? I had a little story to it as well, you know, and it gives icebreaker, and it's easy to make stories as well.
Easy introductory story, and you kind of took that sign on.
Yeah. Like with all the traveling you've done, is there anything that you kind of wish that you could have done differently?
Always, you know, when you go somewhere, you always come back and you think, okay, I could have done that, I could have done this, I could have done that. When I went to Mexico this one time, I went to Mexico and I went to Cancun for spring break. That was at one time. And I went to Oaxaca for the Day of the Dead. I don't know if you watched Coco.
No, you're educated.
Coco is also like a good Disney movie. It's a cartoon, and you guys would like it. Honestly, you would like it. So I went to Mexico these 2 times, right? The first time was better than the second time because I didn't plan it as much. So I like the Coco destination better than the spring break destination, you know? And so I wish my spring break had been more spontaneous in that way. But all the trip I've planned from A to Z, I wish that I hadn't. But I'm not saying don't plan your trips, because that's also important.
Yeah, I always go with like a skeleton plan with pretty much everything that I do. But I think there's a lot of people out there that you're speaking to who literally plan out every single minute of itinerary on the holidays. Don't do that. Come on, give yourself some room.
Give yourself a little liberty break, like a little bit of that one time where you don't know what's gonna happen, but something's gonna happen. You know?
Exactly. Because things grow outside of the comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we say out here, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's literally it. That's my life story. That's my life story right now. I see comfort zone, and nowadays that's what I do. I see I'm in a comfort zone, and I try to move away from it. Like I get scared of my comfort zone nowadays. I try to never just settle.
I think me too, definitely. #me too. All of that shit. Is there anything that you regret, or do you even have regrets?
No. I hate that word, regret. Like I would say, I was like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, okay, I regret every decision I made this morning. But I say that as a joke, you know, it's just like if I went out the day before and I'm just fully hangover.
Yeah. Normally hangover, right?
Huh? Yeah. Now you hangover.
You're pretty annoying.
I'm like, I regret every single decision, but really I don't. You know, it's just I really don't. It's just like everything kind of like, again, super cliche, but everything happens for a reason. Like I did some stuff that I wish I kind of didn't, but if I didn't do them, then I wouldn't be here today.
I'm trying to think of a story that we've had that's worth telling. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know. What's your favorite memory of like me and you meeting up and like what night was the most fun? Like, because we've been on a few clubbing nights.
Yeah, we did. like honestly, like I remember first few times that we met, right? The Reading lot, they were a bit iffy, kind of like, oh, who's this guy? Why is he here? He's very chatty and stuff. And I was like,
Was it?
Yo, I was talking out of my asshole, bro. Like I was really just trying to like assert my presence in it.
yeah, honestly, he was. I guarantee he was. But I was like, I don't know. He's funny. He's kind of funny. He's adding a lot of vibe. Let's just see. Like honestly, he's okay. Like I didn't actually have a problem with you ever. I just found jokes. Honestly, I was just like every time.
Okay.
So those guys, they're like they're very posh and kind of. They're not introverts. Like they're pretty extroverted people. Like all of them, right? Like all of your homies in Reading, they're pretty like talkative people.
Yeah.
But like when someone is not cut from the same cloth as them, it's like they have to do a lot of work to like kind of reach you.
Yeah.
You know, that's a background.
Yeah. But they do. We always did our best to integrate anyone like him. Anyone like honestly, our group is kind of very diverse, and that's what I love. But I do have. It's not from a night. It's not from a night out. Okay, I have a good memory of you. But that's some. At that moment, I was like, okay, he's a good guy. Like
it's a lot of God play, so you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Like, I hope that God isn't a woman because I don't really get forgiveness from that shit. But you know, shout out, by the way, that was lyric.
It's not even like that. You did one thing, and what you did was kind of. I found it funny, but I found it so good. So we were looking for part-time jobs, right? We were looking for part-time jobs, and I remember about our friend was too, and Miss kind of just went about, and we just had finished dinner. We're still like walking around in Wembley, London, and we just finished dinner, and Miss was the one going up to like two or three managers. I'm like, okay, are you taking jobs? It's like, we just finished dinner, we're about to do other stuff, right? But he just went and like talked to managers and like, oh, are you guys hiring? Can I send you a CV? This is my mate here, blah blah blah. And he was just talking for like just to help out his friend. And at that point I was like, he's going out of his way for someone else, and this isn't bringing him anything. And I was like that. No, I don't think anyone saw this or anyone kept it like that at this moment. But at that moment, I was kind of just like observing you from afar, and I was like, okay, he's someone's worth having. Like he's someone worth getting to know more.
Okay, what this like? Okay, so sometimes I do selfless acts in it. Sometimes. And I knew that obviously at that point I was like, okay, so.
I don't think he remembers that even. Like you can tell like he did. I don't think he.
Wait, so who? Like what do you mean by managers? Who was I talking to?
Like restaurant managers. We're just walking in Wembley and stuff, and like it was restaurant managers.
Oh
and, like,
shit! Okay. Yeah, I literally went up to the staff and I was like, yo, you hiring? This guy's looking for a part-time job. Like, come on, man. Like.
Yeah, and she gave her like a position that honestly it was funny at the moment, but like the first
I can't lie, it wasn't really for like to help them out, but I knew if it did work out, then that would be good. This was in Pizza Express, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, like a run-down Pizza Hut.
It wasn't the act.
No, I get you.
Honestly, say that it wasn't the act on itself, but I just found you interesting, like at that very moment, you know. I was like, I've never seen this before, and so far, like Miss had given me a lot of vibes. Honestly, first time I met him, it was a lot to take on. You went from like flirtatious to good guy to very rowdy to very political, very diplomatic. Honestly, I didn't know where to put him. It was like okay, and then when he did that, I was like, let's just see. Okay, he's actually kind of funny. Like he's actually kind of fun. Like honestly, he's my vibe. Honestly, I was like, okay, well, I think we're gonna get along. Like I didn't think more than that. But I was like, okay, he's cool. That was it. So that's a good memory of you.
Yeah.
And then we went out.
What's your worst memory? Give me a worst memory because you have to counteract that. I can't go out on that blessing. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
That's down a notch.
No, because low key, like I have a big head already. Like you're gonna inflate me. I'm gonna be a hot air balloon, bro. Like you don't.
I don't think you want to give me the. You want me to give you the worst memory.
We're gonna have to. If we have to cut it out, we'll cut it out.
I'm keeping it in, man.
So you're cutting this shit out if you have to, like. No, I was just very flirty at the beginning, you know. Now, what you have to do is you have to give the bad thing and ruin my persona. That's what you have to do. See, so you know at the beginning we did that alley-oop. Now you're gonna have to slam dunk that shit right now. So.
Honestly, I think worst memory would be like all the time you're just flirting. like this is so amazing.
It's my coffee. I can't lie.
Because every time he flirted, I just wanted to burst out laughing, but it wasn't against him. It was just like, why are you doing this? Why? Like, why? It was just like, why?
So I don't know if people will notice, right, in the upcoming podcast, is that I kind of change my tonality when I speak to certain people, right? And there's like this switch that I do that's like, yo, that's basically how I spoke to her for like the whole time, bro. And like it got to the point where like for 15 minutes I was like, you know, pretty serious.
Yeah.
Then I was like, this is gonna be funny as fuck if I do this the whole night. And I know that, you know, there was one of my friends, we're not gonna mention any names, but one of my friends, you know, had a liking to you, which made me want to do it more, you know. So, and it was entertainment value for everyone, but yeah, like I tend to do that sometimes.
It was no bad memory as well. It's like, okay, I don't want to hang out with this guy anymore. He just no. Plus, I think I just have like few memories of you because I think it's been such a long time since we actually seen each other. Like last time I saw you was like 3 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe it's definitely been a couple years. Like obviously before lockdown is when the last time I saw you.
Yeah, house party. Yeah. I remember when you came to uni in
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the last time I saw you.
Yeah, you don't remember it.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it was a house party, it's probably flirty as well, man. You know, life of the pie out here. You know what I'm saying? CJ's worse.
I'm on work to the way. Apparently I'm worse. Nah, man.
He does it with his eyes. That's it. He doesn't really talk. He just does it with his eyes. He doesn't even have to talk to girls. They just come to him.
Yeah.
Just come to him.
Well, what's that one thing you do, Miss, besides your weird flirting? When you see someone that you like, what's your first move at a club?
I just go and chat to them, really. Like,
really? That works?
Like, you know. No, you know what? It's my eyes, isn't it? Like first. So let me give you guys some game in it real quick. Yeah. I'm joking. I don't have game, by the way. I don't have bitches at all. But you know, from the ones who I've met, I'm not gonna call them bitches. I'm gonna call them ladies, beautiful ladies. You know, I normally make sure that the eye contact is reciprocated. Once the eye contact is reciprocated, then of course you are enabled to make a move.
Yeah. Because
in this like culture day and age, it's not really normal anymore to go up to someone in person, especially like with the pandemic and everything. You know, so obviously when the eye contact is reciprocated, you're going to be met with a better response.
Yeah.
And then from there I do that tone shit, but like we'll get to that later, you know. We'll get to that later. We wanted to ask you, because we ask every guest, and now this is a thing, what's your type? So if anyone's watching, I don't know how to say your surname, so I'm not going to, but Mr. Blank, what would he be looking like?
That's a hard question, actually.
You don't want to alienate audiences. That's why people are tricky.
Well, my type. Well, I don't have such a physical type per se. Like, yeah, it's easier if the guy is taller than me, blah blah blah. But really, like,
yeah, she's pretty tall. By the way, everyone out there, she's How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Huh? 5'9".
I'm 5'9".
All right, cool. So that's one specification for you, man. All right, carry on.
but someone, just kind and smiley. Like I like a good smile. I like good teeth. Like good teeth, like, and very imposing. When someone looks at you and it touches you. Like someone looks at you so so hard that like it kind of just touches you. That's kind of important.
It sounds a bit
But really, like a good eyes. But what's important really is like, again, surprises. Someone that has like, I don't want to be building anyone today, just like someone that likes to give surprises, spontaneous, and like I like a random flower bouquet at my door, and like there's not many guys like to do that nowadays, but it's that type of guy that's my type.
All right, we're gonna make this a clip basically, right? So like for anyone who is a guy out there who doesn't have that much confidence, right, and is trying to understand what makes Samantha from Cheshire really get some attraction, how is he gonna go about that? So one is spontaneity, be a little bit more chivalrous, show that you are selfless. Go on from there.
Exactly. Like you like confidence, but you don't like overconfidence. You just want someone kind, and someone kind is automatically confident. It's like that guy that will stop and ask old people, do you want to ride? Like you're confident enough to ask them, do you want to
ride? I would pick different words, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand the sentiment behind it.
Can I drop you off anyway? You're trying to
No, don't. But yeah.
But someone that's just kind and that's not scared to be kind, because today guys have realized, and even girls, honestly, even myself, like if we like someone, we're just so scared to show them that we like them that we just end up never telling them, and that's just sad. And you just end up not losing that person, but maybe you just lose an opportunity that way, because you don't want to tell them that you like them, because that's considered lame, or like you're just too scared of what might come about from it. But what's important is just to appreciate God-given beauty. Like if you see a guy that you like, you can just tell him that, oh, you look handsome, and just go about your day. It doesn't need to mean anything. The same with a girl, it's like that, those little acts of kindness, and then it helps you get your personality out. It helps you show that you're kind and confident, and it doesn't come off as creepy. Whereas if you stare at someone for too long, then it comes out as creepy without saying anything, Like, I don't know if I make any sense or not, and I don't know if anyone's gonna agree with me, but like kindness that comes off as confidence is important. Confident alone, like you like a kind guy. That's all.
Okay, yeah. So you didn't say anything about the looks though. Like I would like to know like what your type is. I do this to everyone, by the way. Like everyone you see on this podcast will have this question asked. So it has to happen.
Well, I'm gonna go about the guys I've dated in the past, and the thing is that they don't look at all alike. They really don't like.
I thought you were gonna say the word dead.
They really don't. They kind of had this like fireman type of body shape, maybe, like very tall.
Big shoulder.
Like,
yeah, big shoulder.
Like, they have big muscles. So I guess that could be my type, but doesn't have to. Like I said, like love is blind. You don't really.
No, good answer to try and skate away from the. I appreciate it. Is there anything you want to say to the audience before we cut the recording?
Honestly, I think I've said a lot things today. I've said a lot, but really just be yourself, and whatever you're doing with this pandemic and stuff, I hope things are good, and if they're not, I hope it gets better.
There you go. Nice sentiments. Listen, this is obviously the episode with Giandra. Thank you for watching. Obviously, you know what you have to do? You have to rate it. Now, it's not Trustpilot 5 stars. What we want is 1 like, maybe 1 comment. Put in the comments like Windows or some shit.
Windows.
Because we're taking opportunity, isn't it? For the window closes.
Covered.
You know?
Covered.
We have loads of episodes. Like, we've been busy. We've been like knocking this shit out like a 13-year-old boy having wanks. I swear to God. Like, yo, I don't know where this shit comes from, you know? I don't. It just comes from nowhere,
Off
bro.
the top of the dome.
Off the top of the dome.
Poetic. It's so poetic.
See, that's the French sarcasm coming in for no reason. Like,
listen,
your episode is done, finished. Like, get out of here. All right, and you know what? We're not even friends. We're just playing for the cameras, by the way. Like, she's not even. She's a random girl, just Giandra, you know, because I took an opportunity. You know. All right, no. In all seriousness, check out my Instagram is on
CJ Lordain, CJ_Lordain.
CJ_. Don't forget the
don't forget the underscore. Don't forget the underscore.
All right, and we'll be with you again. This is Kilimanjaro. I don't know what part this is, what video this is, but we move. We're gonna get some YouTubers on actually, so stay tuned in it. Peace. Do we say peace? I don't know if we say peace.
No, we did.
That's a little bit dead. I can't lie. Let me just end.